Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be interviewing John Ostenson from FranBridge Consulting and author of the best-selling new book, Non-Food Franchising. John, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Seth, excited to be here.
All right, let's go back in time because I know you didn't wake up at 8 years old and say, I want to be a franchise expert. So how did you get started?
Like so many of your listeners, I had a great run in the corporate world, really enjoyed it, but I had that desire to do something a little more entrepreneurial and had the opportunity to step in about 10 years ago as president of Shelf Genie franchise system and ran the home office supporting all of our franchisees day to day and really fell in love with the franchise model through that experience. And from there, parlayed it into becoming a franchisee myself of several brands and now have good people running those businesses and allows me to do what I do, which is consulting side. So for about 7 years now, I've had FranBridge Consulting. We've helped hundreds of people step into business ownership through what I call non-food franchising.
Awesome. So if I got that right, you went from the corporate world to working at a franchise company, helped grow that, then started acquiring your own franchises. Love that so much. You're now helping other people do the same thing.
You got it.
All right. You are recognized as one of the top 1% franchise consultants in the U.S. How did Shelf Genie and owning your own franchises lead you into FranBridge?
Yeah, with FranBridge, just saw when people hear the F word, franchise, they think fast food, right? And so for me, it was eye-opening to realize there's so many other industries out there and just had that desire to help others because I'm surrounded by people that are either business owners or many that want to become business owners, but most of them don't know where to start. They don't know how to connect the dots and, they're risk averse and they love the idea of, what franchising provides, the training wheels, if you will, and the whole system behind it, which we can get into. But what I found was there's just a lack of knowledge around the types of opportunities that exist, everything from home and property services to health and wellness to categories like kids, pets, seniors. Franchising offers so much. And so those experiences that I had led me to, want to help others find their right fit.
Awesome. And why specialize in non-food franchises when it seems like, as you mentioned, that's the stereotype that people think about?
My humble belief is there are easier ways to make money and, that may require less capital expenditures, fewer employees, less operating hours, typically higher margins, maybe less susceptible to consumer whims. Think of like frozen yogurt as an example. That was big until it wasn't. What our clients like are industries that are not going out of style. They're not trendy. They're understandable cash flowing businesses, oftentimes that are recession resilient and, will stand the test of time.
You offer fee-free services to clients. How does that work?
Yeah, you can think of me as a real estate broker, but for franchises. So, I represent 600 franchise companies that are looking to expand that, have passed our vetting filters. And end of the day, this is a sales and marketing expense for them. So if I place a client with one of those brands, I get a referral fee. The beauty is none of that's passed on to my clients. So it really is entirely free, nice, clean model for our clients.
That is awesome. You have a 6-step framework. I don't want you spilling the entire secret sauce. I want people to go get the book, but can you share some of it?
Yeah, end of the day, it's when you're exploring franchises, you want to do your due diligence. Franchising is just like every other industry in that you've got some really strong players and you've got some that probably shouldn't be in the industry, right? And that's where we come in to help our clients identify those that have the the right leadership teams, that have the financial models, that have the competitive advantages, that are well validated by their current franchisees. And so what we do is we also understand that we can't guess at what our clients are looking for exactly, but we can get them in the ballpark. So if Joe from Wichita, Kansas comes to us and says, "Hey, John, here's my background, skill sets, here's what I'm looking to do, the role I want to play in the business," what I like to do is say, "Hey, Joe, if I were in your shoes, here are the top 10 opportunities that are available in your market. Here's why I like each of them for you." And then Joe would be able to say, "Oh gosh, I never thought about XYZ industry. Maybe we should look at that one and this one," and it can take us down different paths. So, we like to date around before getting married, if you will, and expose our clients to a wide variety, and then hold their hand through the process as they explore these opportunities and serve as a resource, help them find funding, help them review the agreements, and then, iterate as needed. We can go down different paths once we're in the game.
With over 600 brands, you talked about dating around. That could be a lot of dating. How do you narrow that down for a particular client?
Well, oftentimes opportunities may already be sold out in their markets. That's an easy way to kind of filter down. That's one of our first steps. But depending on their level of investment, what they're looking to invest, whether they're looking to leverage through an SBA loan, that's very common, or use an old retirement plan and roll that over. Are they looking to be an owner operator where they run the day-to-day operations, or are they like half of our clients that are looking for more of an executive model, which still takes work. I like to call it semi-involved because you're still going to be involved. That could be another filter. Ultimately, we want to show them, if we were to look at 10 different industries, what's our favorite opportunity in each of those industries that has the strongest proposition for owners as well as for their end customer. And so, again, there's a little bit of art to it, a little bit of science, but because we've been able to place so many clients across the country, I get to see the backgrounds of these people. I get to see how they do in these franchises. And then that brings me into how I'm able to guide my clients.
Well, you segued perfectly into my next question. So thank you for that. What types of backgrounds or mindsets tend to be the best fit for you?
Yeah, such a wide variety of backgrounds. I mean, we have clients everywhere from their 20s to their 60s. Some that are looking to leave the corporate rat race and build their own empire. I just got off the phone with a client that, he's 45 years old and he's like, "Hey, I'm tired of working for the man. I've had a good run." Very similar to my story, but he's just about 10 years further advanced. We have some that are early retirees, but we have a lot of young folks too that are saying, "Hey, I want to put a franchise." I'm a believer that, in all of the above investing strategy, I invest in real estate myself, Airbnb, syndications, a lot of other asset classes. I believe that business ownership makes a lot of sense within that portfolio. You get tax benefits, cash flow, building an asset. And so I'd say that's a piece of it, but a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of real estate investors are moving into franchising because there aren't too many good real estate deals these days for, high interest rates, low inventories. They're coming in our direction. So a lot of backgrounds, but to your question on the mindset, I would say, you've got to have some degree of humility. You've got to be willing to step in and follow another system that's been proven out. Where I see people fall sometimes is when they come in and they think they're the smartest guy in the room and they're going to try to do things their own way. It's like, wait a minute, there's a reason why you bought into the franchise, right? Just follow the system. It's proven. And oftentimes that leads to success.
That makes a lot of sense. You've helped hundreds of clients, as you mentioned. Can you share an example of someone of a success story?
Oh gosh, I mean, endless case studies, but I'll go with one of our larger clients, that I think is a good example of other clients of ours, but also one that a lot of our clients are looking to emulate. Client of mine, Nathan, he's the largest franchisee of 2 Minute Truck Moving Service, operates in like 12 different markets. Started out on one, slowly over time bought out other franchisees as they're looking to have exits, and so it allowed him to expand his footprint. But every year or two, Nathan comes to me and says, "Hey, John, I'm looking to." I've got a young guy in my organization I want to promote. What franchises do you like out there? I'll introduce him to a few. He picks one, promotes that guy, gives him some equity, says, "Hey, go make us proud." He goes out and runs the business. So Nathan's starting to build this empire. They do over 40 million a year in revenue now, but he's got all these different brands where he's got young people that are highly incentivized that have proven themselves with him now running those. So it allows him to attract better talent because he can career path within the organization. So that's just an example. A lot of our clients aren't quite to that point, but they're on that path.
You offer access to partners in legal review, funding, staffing, recruiting. How does that help improve your client outcomes?
Yeah, ultimately, franchising is all about support systems, and we try to provide support from a resource standpoint. Obviously, the majority of the support is going to be coming from the franchisor and their team. You've got a coach on the sidelines, that franchisor helping them. You've got a team, operations team on that sideline that's helping to drive leads in a lot of cases, and then train up their employees and support them operationally. So that's one of the things I love about franchising is just how collaborative it is, and it's all about achieving success for these newly minted business owners. And yeah, it's a great culture.
You contribute to a number of franchise publications. What are you seeing as developments or trends in the non-food franchising space?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen so much interest in franchising, I think for a variety of reasons. I mean, I've been following the narrative in the Wall Street Journal lately where, every week they have at least 2 or 3 articles about either how AI is taking over or how it's now cool for corporate executives to be able to say how lean their staffs are and how that's only going to continue. So, definitely seeing a lot of interest in what we're doing. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of institutional money come in. Private equity, smart money loves franchising. Oftentimes they love things like home and property services. Again, needs-based businesses that aren't going out of style, and helps them diversify their portfolios. So, yeah, and I'd say even going back, I think COVID was an impetus that only put interest in franchising on steroids, in that a lot of people were able to contemplate and think about what they're doing with their lives and say, hey, if not now, when? And they have that desire for that flexibility. And, it's not easy. If business ownership was easy, everyone would be a business owner, but they're willing to trade their current challenges for the challenges of business ownership.
Absolutely. What are some of the most common misconceptions or that aspiring franchisees have, or the most common mistakes they make, and how do you help them kind of avoid those?
Yeah, I'd say coming in, oftentimes they may think the franchisor does everything for them, right? It's turnkey. In a lot of ways, it can be turnkey, but you still have to put in effort. Either you or you hire a manager that you're supporting and let him go or her go run with it. End of the day, franchising is business, and business is people. Business takes work. Franchising helps shortcut that success and make it much more likely. But end of the day, it's still business, and it takes a lot of work and takes good people.
That makes a lot of sense. Your book, Non-Food Franchising, talk to us about what inspired you to write it.
Yeah, first off, and yeah, happy to share a free downloadable copy with everyone that comes out to our website. We'll send the link over to you. Again, I just saw a gap in knowledge in the marketplace. And so I said, let's put together a 90-page book that's very readable, pack it with as much content as we can to help people connect the dots and understand what franchising is, what types of opportunities exist out there, how do you fund these, how do you evaluate franchises, what are the keys to success. And so most of our clients have actually read it by the time we get on the phone. And so it's a great primer for people to help connect the dots in their understanding of the franchise world.
And where can our viewers or listeners go to get that book?
Yeah, come out to our website, franbridgeconsulting.com, F-R-A-N, bridgeconsulting.com. Share your email address. We'll send you some downloadable links so you can download it in multiple different formats. Certainly, if you'd rather buy it on Amazon, all the profits go to, or all the proceeds actually go to Hope International, which is a great nonprofit that we support.
Awesome. You've helped so many people achieve success in this space. What's your biggest challenge now?
Yeah, my biggest challenge, honestly, and this is a big challenge, is good opportunities move incredibly fast in good markets. And so because we are seeing so much interest out there, I find myself always working my relationships on the back ends with the franchisors to try to move my clients ahead of other candidates in the pipeline for the same territories for those opportunities. So, I was speaking at a franchise conference 2 weeks ago. There was to a group of emerging brands, and I'm always out there trying to figure out what's coming next. What are those niches that they're about to be filled, and how do I position my clients ahead of other candidates for those? So, I'd say my biggest challenge is that at times it feels a little bit like a race for those opportunities.
That's a good problem to have. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Yeah, end of the day, it's just incredibly validating for me when I see clients come back and buy additional locations, or they come back and buy additional brands, or they come back and refer their brother. If they refer their brother-in-law, I think that's a good thing, but it's not always. If they refer their brother, I know it's got to be a good thing. So, just seeing those successes and helping people experience what I experienced is what I'm passionate about.
That is awesome. And can you talk a little bit about Hope, the cause that you're passionate about?
Yeah, Hope International, great nonprofit. I mean, there are a handful of nonprofits we support, but Hope International, I put up there at the top. And what they do is they provide kind of that not a handout, but a hand up, if you will. And so they're empowering local entrepreneurs all around the world to provide sustainable commerce. They're making micro loans, providing that entrepreneurship path to people, allowing them to create businesses to support their families, their communities. My son and I went down to Dominican recently and were able to support them on a little mission trip. And just believe in the work that they do. I've seen it firsthand.
That's awesome. Well, we know your time's incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. This has been Seth Greene with John Ostenson of FranBridge Consulting. John, thanks so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks so much, Seth.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.